this sweatshirt because it was cold. So it's starting to get that cold season, and I don't necessarily like the cold season necessarily at all because it seems like you can't really escape the cold, just like you can't escape the heat. But at least with the heat, you got an option. But I guess with the cold, you got an option too. You can sit with the heater on, sit by a heater, and keep that chill off the body. For me, all winter, I have like a freeze chill that I have on me, and it's in my back, and it hurts, and it gets stiff and hurts. Like right now, it hurts. So it's like my back always seem to have like this chill, cold blowing of air going across it, um, all the time during the winter time. And it's usually a little hard to get warm and stay warm because just other parts are out. So keeping something on my head keeps in the heat. And definitely, even I have on, I think, two shirts under the sweatshirt, and I am still cold. um, but we're going to move forward on tonight's broadcast and start where we left off this morning about being in alignment and as women understanding your SWOT. And that is the SWOT analysis that is really a great a modality to use when you are looking at just your interactions with yourself and with people. And in order to check the capacity of the fidelity of what it is that you're doing. And that's my phone. I figured out how to turn the volume up, but don't pay no attention to that. When you're checking the modality and the capacity of what you're able to do, then these are when everything kind of gets going and get moving. Now, when you're looking at a SWOT analysis, the modality of the SWOT analysis is understanding yourself and the impact that you do have on yourself as well as with other people. Now, when you are, coming from a strength-based, you know, model, you want to make sure that you're using uh, the different things that you can utilize that will help you. So when we look at that, we're going to look at that SWOT analysis. Girl, yes, I'm cold. I'm that cold. I am. Yes. Wintertime, I told you guys, wintertime don't do a whole lot for me in this time because it just chills my whole. That that you're just, good at, you don't even have to think twice about it. You already know what you're doing, you already know how to do it, and it is a strength base for you. That is what you're going to look at. You're going to look at your strengths. So, since our thing isn't working, let's just throw up our happy go lucky bright idea boot camp because, again, it's better to look at than just a blank screen. Um, but when you think about your strengths, you want to think about them in the sense of how can you support yourself And how can you support yourself so that you can support others? As we always know, and Sharif Muhammad always says that, you can't pour from an empty cup. So if you're pouring from an empty cup, you couldn't be doing that, and it's not going to turn out really well. So you have to definitely keep in mind what we're good at and what we have the capacity to handle. So, looking at your strengths is always the best thing to do because it helps you, it helps what you're doing, and that just what makes sense. So, when you think about a strength based, you're looking at your strengths, and that's what you're good at. Those are things that you can do in your sleep, as they say, and those are things that you do without even having to think about it. That's what that is. The next thing we're going to talk about is those weaknesses. Now, most people look at weaknesses as, they don't want to share with anybody what their weaknesses are. They don't want to let people know about what's going on with them and their weaknesses. So, again, we're showing you a whole nother deal. This is our My Bright Idea hoodie. Isn't that the coolest thing? I think it is. I think it's cool. So this is where you will talk about, and then look, don't forget about the Bright Idea Boot Camp for Kids, but we're not going to talk about not right now. So, and again, let me talk about this pillow. Isn't that pillow the cutest thing? I like that pillow. So anyway, when you think about your weaknesses, you think about the things that you're not good at, you think about um, stuff that you may not bubble to the top for yourself. You think about things that, make you procrastinate because of something that you just don't want to do. I know I do. If I don't want to do it, or if I know it's going to take me a little bit of time, it's like you just don't do it. It's like, oh boy. So that's kind of how that works. So, but we definitely have to realize we got to get these things done. We got to work on it. We got to make it happen. And that's what we want to do is make it happen in our lives. But we also can make it happen in other people's lives. So, what we look at as far as weaknesses is they're not always a bad thing. They can be good. They can give other people the next thing of opportunities. So, we got our strengths, we got our weaknesses, and then we moving into this opportunity. Opportunity usually is going to come where there is a weakness because you're not necessarily good at something, and that weakness is that the fact that you're not good at it, but you're still moving forward. You either are searching out someone who can help you, and guess what you're doing? You're giving them an opportunity to gain something. So it's a win-win for both of you. It's a win-win for you because you are not having to struggle and procrastinate, hold back whatever it is that you were trying to unveil or launch or do. And then you're giving the person an opportunity to support you, but also giving them an opportunity to perfect, and then not perfect, to just fine tune and utilize their skills. That's how that usually is going to work. So moving into the last is threats. And we always usually are going to look at a threat as being like a negative, a discomfort, something that is bringing us down, and that's moving us out of our realm of what we're going to do and launch and do what we want to do for ourselves. But we have to also think about threats as a thing of awareness. And we're not gonna call it good because that'd just be making spinning it just way too hard. But we're gonna look at it as an awareness. It's giving you an awareness, it's giving you data, it's giving you intel, it's letting you know where you need to go and correct and fix and do. That's the thing of how threats work. They let you know where you need to go and strengthen a weakness at. And I talked about that earlier about iPhone and how iPhone uses people who use iPhones as their market research at no cost, hypothetically. They might have a cost because somebody might really decide that they just don't want to have an iPhone at all. And they're like done. Where that others are really, really fascinated with finding the errors and finding things that don't work and then taking it back and getting a new iPhone or fixing the problem. And some people, like to test the waters and test it to see how it works. But on the other side of that, being that it's a threat, some people, don't mind necessarily the threat because the threat will help them build a better platform. It gives you a better resource to work from. It lets you know where some of your weaknesses are, such as typos. That's my thing. I do typos a lot. I'm typing fast and I don't have time to go back. Maybe that's what's that thing called? I forget what the word is because I'm just not remembering much of nothing right at this moment in time. But it's just it could be your own way of okay, I don't have to go and check for those things. You know, um, that's what you definitely don't want to be like, but it happens. We all kind of feel confident about stuff that we're doing and we don't go back and check. So when you constantly, if it's being brought to your attention, then that's a weakness. You got to go and check that out, and it's going to help you be mindful before you send things. And that's kind of where it is for me, just being mindful of before I send something out. Now what you don't want to do is make it so that it paralyzes you because you're going to be like, ooh, I'm not going to send it. I know there's going to be something. And what that will do is paralyze you and it will keep you from getting those things out because you're so, caught up in the fact that you might have an error somewhere that you overlooked. And there might be. But at some point in time, you just have to kind of go with it. And that's kind of where I am. I'm like, there might be something here. I've looked, I've taken time with the capacity of time that I have, and then it's like hey, at that point it's like here we go. And if you find something, then find it then, and then tell me when you do. A lot of you guys do that. When I type stuff like late and I'm using one of my thumbs and I'm typing something, and if it types up the wrong way, and then Facebook or whatever that is be automatically trying to edit stuff and turn it into whatever it wants to turn it into, and then I post it, and then some people will hit it. So if you see something, just like it because when you like it, it pops back up on my timeline, and then it gives me an opportunity to see it and make the corrections. I don't mind. I don't operate in perfection land. You, other people can do that. That's not my job to be in the perfection land. I'm in the get it done land and creativity land and land, get it done land. So those are some of the things that we want to look at again from the perspective of a SWOT analysis. You're looking at your strengths, you're looking at your weaknesses, you're looking at the opportunities, and you do want to pay attention to those threats. But you also want to be sure that your threats and threats that you have is not preventing you from moving forward, nor will it prevent you from discovering what your great and bright idea will be. So, with all of that, I'm going to get going because I've been on since early this morning, like three something. I woke up and then messing around, but I am tired. So, for those of you guys, tomorrow is a whole new day, and I will be getting back to getting some things done for Miss Dr. Beelan. And of course, my other wonderful friend, Intercessor. So that's what I'll be doing because those are things that are going to take some time that I want to do. So, but in the meantime, thank all of you guys for being here. Thank you guys for being a part of this broadcast and still being here with me after, 5 years of doing and coming live with you guys 365. And one of the things that, we talk about is consistency, being consistent, but also, regulating yourself to see where it is and what you can do and what your capacity is. So those are things that you want to do. Is that consistency will definitely open up doors for you. It will change some things for you. It will give you an opportunity. So for those of you guys who know, our Bright Idea session is going to be on the 14th, coming this month. If you want to get ready and sign up for it, go ahead and check out that page so you can see if that's something that is interest of you. But keep in mind, it's definitely going to be great. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time, and we're going to actually get some things done for you. So thank you guys. You guys have a wonderful evening. See you later, Hot Cat.